I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Ssemanda, medical intuitive healer and life coach, and you're listening to Stepping into Soul Power, the podcast for people who understand that we are more than just our physical bodies. Today, friends, we have a treat for you. We have Dr. Tanielle Brew-Smith here. She's here today, and we'll be doing a medical intuitive, give you a little smidge of a reading, and then we're gonna dive in and get a great interview from her. You are in for a treat, and so Dr. Tanielle Brew-Smith, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here.
Okay, perfect. Great. And so if you're ready, you ready to get right into the reading?
We definitely can. Perfect.
Okay. So here we let me whenever I'm doing a read, I always like to just set an intention and and then connect and then we'll see what comes. And and so I guess the question we'll ask is like what the most pressing issue that that you might particularly be dealing with, and then like, your strengths, like what's going to help you go through. And so the first one, set the intention to connect with you on a soul to soul level. So the first thing that I'm seeing is, and I'm going to say this is when I talk about like images, right? Think about what they mean to you. It doesn't really matter what I think, but like but you think about what you think, and if you want to stop, chime in, say anything, then yes, more power to you. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing is like, I see an image of you, and you're at it's almost like you're at a busy intersection, right? You're at a busy intersection, and kind of in the middle of the street, and you're dressed a little bit like a police officer. Like you look like, yeah, you've got the police officer uniform. And the thing is, at this intersection, the traffic light is broken. And so but you are you're like you're directing all the cars and the pedestrians. And, yeah, you're directing all the cars and the pedestrians each way. And then the second, so I guess the feel that I'm getting is like the challenge would be to not to untangle yourself from getting involved in other people's problems. That would be a challenge. And no. So I mean, okay, so that's the first thing I see, and like I said, you could chime in if you like, and let us know what you think. And then there's another image that I'm seeing, and this like digestive issues, and so I guess that now we're going to the digestive system, and the sense that I'm getting is that when this happens, right, like when you get involved in it's like you're directing other people's stuff, this like digestive issues might have a tendency to surface and worsen, and so the question is, it's one of like boundaries that come, like that's the sense I'm getting, boundaries coming to play. And I guess the question I want to ask you is, yeah, for you, how, like, knowing when a boundary has been violated, like that is particularly important. in for like addressing this issue. Um, and then the next, sorry, there are lots of things that I talk a little bit more about what I'm seeing. I
Bring it.
okay. I so I'm also seeing, so the next image that I took, like I'm clairvoyant, so I just get visions. And the next image that I see of you, it's like your right arm. I mean, think about so it's like there's symbolism even for body parts. There's symbolism, right? So on the right, we tend to like associate it with like doing. It's the more active part of you. Whereas left is more like intuitive, receiving. And and then what I'm seeing is it's almost as if um so they're like different wound, like on your right arm there are like 10 different wounds. 10 different wounds.
Mm.
Um and but it's not but I'm going to be honest, the sense I'm getting is like the source of the wounds, like it's more, it's not even like you per se, it's like other people have affected you in that way. It's like familial expectations, familiar trauma, racism, sexism, like that, like has dug, like wounds that have dug into you, classism, like ethnocentrism, like colorism, even like the sensing of religion to like that, like those things. It's the sense that I'm getting.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Oh, really? Okay. Can you break it down for us? Because I'm just seeing this stuff, but
Yeah.
like I don't know. So like, like how does it make sense? In what
So
capacity?
for the arm, I'll go backwards. So for the arm part, I literally always I have pain here and here. This is where and this is my right side. I'm always having
Oh,
pain in like my right shoulder, upper arm area. And
oh,
I have noticed that when I am like by myself, fully relaxed, that pain's not there. But if I get into an argument or when I'm stressed out or frustrated or any kind of tension, like with a family member or someone close to me, whether it's that day or the next day, this whole part will start to hurt like
oh,
terribly.
oh. Okay. That's helpful.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's been going on for a long time. And then you mentioned something else. Oh, boundaries. Definitely had discussions about boundaries today with people very
Oh,
close to me and what happens when those boundaries are violated repeatedly, like because it has
yeah.
been happening repeatedly. What what's the next step?
Okay. Okay.
That was literally my
Okay.
conversation about 4 hours ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but the sense I'm getting though is like you're you are an incredibly hardworking and resilient person, right? And that it's like that tenacity that is gonna like is helping you kind of get through this, navigating these boundaries, kind of navigating any familial or like relationship issues. It's that determination. Um, and so,
Yeah. Literally I was thinking earlier when the boundaries were crossed, I'm like, but can do I have the capacity to stay in the situation long enough to reach the goal that we have?
yes,
And can
yes.
I shift? our relationship enough so that both of us are going to be able to literally make it because we
Wow.
have this shared goal that we want.
Yes. Yes. Oh man, kudos to look at you. Kudos to you. And so we want to get to know you a little bit better. So we're just going to transition to the interview portion, and um, we want you to maybe let's start by I want to ask you, tell us about your journey. You know, you're a doctor, so tell us about your journey to being a healer.
Mm. So I guess I can start with what made me want to be a doctor in the first place.
Yes,
So
yes,
my grandmother was a nurse.
yes,
Yes, so my grandmother was a nurse and she amazing. So my plan initially was to be a nurse. And then my grandma was like, no, 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 I'm a nurse. I did that. I did great. I want you to be a doctor. And
yeah,
I was like, okay, whatever, grandma. Yeah. And this is
yes,
when I was like 10 years old. I went to college with the thought of I was going to do research. I wanted to be a cancer researcher because I've had other grandparents who died of, and just people who died of cancer. So I wanted to do cancer
yes,
research. Well, my
yes.
freshman year, my grandmother ended up being diagnosed with brain cancer. And I
Oh,
saw
geez.
how she was treated, and it was literally in the hospital room in the lobby, that I literally heard God say, "You're going to be a doctor." It was the most
W-
clear voice I'd ever heard in my life.
Wow.
And I was crying. It was terrible. I was like, "Oh, Lord, okay, fine." And from that
Yes,
moment on, I went towards the direction of being a physician because I wanted to make sure that people were cared for better than my
yes.
grandmother was because she did not have a good healthcare experience. And because that voice was so clear.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. So
Um,
that was my first kind of like, I want to be a doctor. Then I was going to be internal medicine. I was going to be an oncologist. But
yes,
my last rotation of third year, I had family medicine, and
yeah.
I absolutely fell in love with taking care of the whole family,
Oh,
of the
wow.
mystery behind the door, of the
Yes.
complexity of what can happen when you start taking care of like the whole person, the whole family, and the generational people. So
Wow.
literally another shift happened. Like in a moment, I was like, wow, I'm about to be a family medicine doctor, even though I, for 3 years, told everybody I was going to do internal medicine. About to
Wow.
shift all this. So I did that wonderfully. Um, Later on, I did my family medicine residency, great experience. Throughout
Yeah.
all this, I was on my own weight loss journey, and
Yeah.
have been learning about different weight loss things. And overall, I've lost like 100 pounds. And that
Hold,
helped motivate
hold.
me to learn about obesity.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, because people struggle. We are struggling with this, um, across the globe.
Yeah.
Like in America, we are struggling. So, like, help us out. Like, how'd you do it? And what can we do? Because we need your help.
It was small changes over time that helped me. So
Okay.
I started because I tried doing like these crash diets or whatever. They didn't last very long for me. I
Yes.
had to literally start by like, because there were free cookies. I said, I'm not going to eat the free cookies anymore.
Yes.
I was only drinking soda. Now I drink only water. I literally have water next to me and with me at all times.
Wow.
I only like green beans and greens at the time. So I asked my mom, literally, because I couldn't cook well and I was busy with school. I said, Mommy, could you please cook me vegetables so that I can eat them?
Yes.
And she just started making me food, so that I could just eat that. And then I
Yeah.
had to find something physically that I like to do. And really, at that point, the only thing I like to do was dance because I love dancing like at the club. So I started going to Zumba class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, yes, yes. You can dance, and you can dance too. Yes. Go ahead. Look
So
at
I've been going to Zumba class since grad school and honestly been obsessed with it. Now, of
yeah.
course, I do all types of physical activity, but for me, I would lose weight and then I would
Yes.
let my body settle. to like
Yes.
I maybe lose 20 pounds and then just ride out that weight loss for it could be a couple months or whatever, just settle into that instead of trying to lose it all at once. I would have these moments
Yes.
of weight loss, then settle, then weight loss, then settle. And when I was very stressed out, like the first year of med school and things like that, I
Yeah.
would just try to maintain. I'm not trying to lose weight and do something stressful at the same time. So I knew where I was, like the point I was in my life. But I also started working on my own coping mechanisms because I realized that I ate for everything, for happiness, for sadness,
Yes.
for joy, to connect with people, all the things. So I had to learn other ways of
Yes.
connecting with people and of processing my feelings. So that was a big helper for me to maintain the weight loss and just to keep doing it was really find other ways to work on my boundaries, deal with my emotions, not use food as the connector between me and somebody else.
Mm, mm. That's powerful. That's powerful because like I'll like the sense of like in America like we are socialized to like if something we're not feeling well yet you can have a cookie or you can have a piece of cake or like food is used to like that's how we deal with a lot of strong emotions. So, oh, this is like gold. These are like gold nuggets. Gold. No, for real, I'm serious. Like these are gold nuggets. Um, and and I guess as you were going through this journey, like were there things that happened that you didn't expect that you think were incredibly impactful?
Yes, several things. One, I started out at I think 273 was my highest weight. And when
Yes.
I finally got to less than 200 pounds, and I was like
Yeah.
199,
Yeah.
for some reason, when I got on the scale and I was 199, I just thought there would be like fireworks and trumpets and there'd be a parade for me. She's now in
Yes.
the 100s. And when I got on the scale and I was 199, it was just another day. I'm now 190 something pounds. And
Yes.
in that moment, I said, wow, I've been putting a lot of emphasis on this number
Yes.
instead of me putting emphasis on how I'm feeling in the process of getting to this number,
Wow.
which is more important.
Yes.
Yeah, the number only is there, it's temporary, it's a thing, it's my body weight and gravity. But what's
Yeah.
more important is the journey. It's how I'm
Yes.
feeling, the thoughts I
Yes.
have about myself. That's more
Yes.
important than that actual number.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And then tell us, were there particularly, like as you're going through this journey, you're becoming a family med doctor, it's kind of specializing in work, helping people work through obesity. Were there any people along the way that were particularly impactful for you?
There were several.
Okay.
I was able to work, well, and I still work with my trainer to this day. She
Yeah.
started out as my Zumba instructor,
Yes.
and it was at a point where I'm like, well, I'm good at cardio and I need to actually build muscle in my body. And
Yes.
she literally had started a personal training company like 3 weeks prior, something silly. Like she had just started it.
Wow.
And she became my trainer, and her and her sister have a business together. It's called Body Precepts.
Yes.
And I literally, before we got on this call, I was texting them because I'm going to go work out with them at 7 in the morning tomorrow. And I wanted to change my
Wow.
appointment because it was a
Yeah.
different time. But I think they have been a huge impact for me because I knew that I could lose weight because at that point I'd already lost weight plenty of times. I was doing obesity medicine. I could tell anybody whatever. But
Yes.
it's me being humble enough to ask for help on my own journey,
Yes.
having someone support me during the journey, and then to learn my own physical strength. I never thought of myself as a physically strong person.
Mm.
until I worked with them and started picking up like literally heavy things and
Wow.
seeing my body do these things that I never thought it could do, like jumping on a box and doing deadlifts and all these other exercises I've
Wow.
seen other people do that I was like, that's not me. I'm a dancer. I just do Zumba. I was doing all these things in I saw how my body changed. And
Yes.
also, they supported me when I fell off track because there were times where then I gained some weight because I stopped working out and all that. But even in all that messiness and where I thought I was failing, it wasn't. It
Yes.
was just part of that journey. And they supported me
Yes.
right back to where I needed to be. So I
Wow.
really appreciate them for doing that for me.
Wow. Oh, that's so support. I mean, it's great. It's always good to have like other, sometimes we can, and you make a really great point, is sometimes we like tend to kind of keep things, we handle everything on our own, but it's nice to have like someone in your corner who's kind of help, pushing you along and just helping you to see that you are capable of great things. Especially as
Mm-hmm.
women, as women, like you bring up a great point, like dance, yeah, women can dance, but then when it comes to the other part, the more physical kind of straight training parts, for whatever reason, um like for a lot of us, it's hard to see us. There's like maybe some myths, and it's hard to kind of see ourselves doing those things. So you like open up you open up a lot of doors for people. Yes, and so you're on this, you had a successful journey on your own, and you've done something that a lot of us want to do, like being able to, you know, not just lose weight but maintain weight. And tell us about, like, looking as you're looking out into the future, I guess, what are you hoping, what's your vision? Um, what's your vision? What would you like to see? And I guess as far as with what you're doing with your career.
So, with my career, what I learned was not just my own weight loss journey, but also helping people through their weight loss journey.
Yes.
Part of it is setting up your life so that success is inevitable for you, and not
Ooh.
just a weight loss success, but making sure that you have intentional joy filled practices, making sure that you are intentionally resting,
Wow.
helping people to create a routine around their morning or their evening, or a gratitude practice is one of the things I'm working on now.
Ooh.
So for me, what I see my career is actually moving towards is the coaching field. Of course, I'm still doing
Yes.
medicine, love it, but I've got burned out a little bit from that, as did pretty much every other doctor in
Yeah.
America and probably
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
But I'm really,
No, you're speaking the truth.
yes,
You're speaking hard
I am
times,
building
people.
those.
Hard times for doctors, right?
But yes, I saw that I could transfer those skills into coaching, because just like
Yes.
how I have created structure in my life to make sure that the weight that I maintain is what is going to be because of what I do, I can do
Yes.
that same thing for people who are overwhelmed, who are burned out, if they
Yes.
want to talk about weight stuff. But literally, the process that I take people through, if they want to lose weight with it, they can, because we can create different routines so that they have their selves set up, so they're eating nutritional things and nourishing themselves, and they're not stressed out. So now they're just eating whatever they want. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm doing that through my company, Brew Wellness Collective.
Yes. Yes. And tell us a little bit about, so coaching through Brew Wellness Collective. Can you tell us about how, like, if listeners are interested in connect, they see you're like, oh, I'm trying to talk to her, like, what would be, how can they reach you? How do you want to be reached?
Yeah, so I am obsessed with Instagram. If you go on my
Yes.
page, you'll see all the reels, and I'll probably do a reel tonight because I'm dressed. But it's
Yes.
Brew Wellness
Yes.
Collective on Instagram, BREW. It's BREW Wellness Collective. My website, will hopefully be done very, very soon. I just approved the final version of it, and that'll
Yeah.
be www.brewwellnesscollective.com. So you
Yes.
can go on the website to learn more about what we're offering, but you can also just go on Instagram. I'm updating that multiple times a day. I love it.
Okay. Okay. And then you talked about so coaching. Are there certain what packages do you tell us about that? Like, what can they if they're going to do something with you? Like, what are their options?
Yeah. So we have one-on-one coaching available, whether
Hmm.
it's 6 weeks or 12 weeks. The
Hmm.
6 week package is a little bit more structured since it's a shorter amount of time. And that's
Yes.
really helping people who just not really sure where they're going and what they need, and they need some clarity. A
Yes.
lot of times when you're overwhelmed and you have a lot going on, you don't even know what supports are out there. You don't know what direction you want to go into, but you know you don't want to do whatever it is you're doing now. But I want to help
Yes.
people instead of running away from this thing, they're running towards exactly what they want and defining that in a
Yes.
very clear way. So you're not going to just end up back where you were. So that's what we do in the 6 week package. In the 12 week, we do that, creating that clarity, but we extend that even further. So if we need to work on boundaries, we work on that. Talking about
Yes.
compassion, we will work through that. Whatever other, if you want to work on different, I have one client who really wants to focus on her morning and night routine. We can really
Yes.
take that time to cultivate that for them. It sounds very like, oh yeah, creating self care, that's super easy, but it's not. Creating
You,
it is not. It's maintaining it
there you
and
go.
shifting it, and that's
Yes.
what I help people with.
You're right. Creating it is not, it's maintaining. You can come up with a lot of ideas, but are you actually gonna like implement and maintain them?
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. And just if you could clarify for the listeners, is this like, is it, virtual or can they do in person? Like just let us know how's this gonna be done?
Yeah. So right now it's all virtual, so they can do it from the convenience of their home. We do it through Zoom to make
Yes.
it just easier for everyone. If you're in Jacksonville area, sure, we can meet at your house if you want to, but most people aren't in Jacksonville, so we just do it
Mm-hmm.
virtually.
Okay. And is there a particular, are you limited as far as like, is it only U.S. residents? Like who can come see you?
Yeah. So right now I am focusing on the more like ambitious, high achieving. I say just women. I want men to come too,
Okay.
but right now I feel like it's just women coming to see me, which is okay. I
Okay.
won't turn down a man if they're coming.
Yes.
But a lot of people I focus on, a lot of my clients are people who care for other people, who are the caregiver for not
Yes.
just their family, whether it's their children, their parents. They're always the person that someone goes to,
Yes.
and they have been given their energy out, but they're
Yeah.
not sure how to give themselves that same level of energy and priority. That's the people I try to focus on. And they can be outside of the US, that's totally fine, or
Okay.
within the US.
All
Up to
right.
them.
Y'all hear that? You could be out, you could be anywhere. You could be anywhere. Um, and great. And so we're moving towards the end of our time, but I just want to ask just a couple more questions. If you could
Cool.
give, you can give our, one tip for our listeners to help them to step into their soul power, their spirit power, however you want to conceptualize it. What what should they do?
The biggest tip I would tell people is to prioritize the pause, meaning
Mm,
finding different spaces where you can stop and reflect, or just stop and breathe and just stop and tap into what you need throughout your day. Whether it's a morning practice that you do that, whether it's something you do between patients if you're in healthcare, or something you do in
yes.
the evening, or just be intentional about creating many pauses throughout your day so you can always be checking in on what you need, and not just pause and ask yourself a simple question: what do I want, what do I need? Two questions:
Ooh,
what do I want, what
yeah,
do I need? So I could
yeah.
literally say, okay, what do I want? What do I need? I'm a little warm. I can cut my fan on. I can drink some water. That helps you to one, recognize your own needs as important and then
Mm,
give yourself those things. So now you're
yes.
honoring what you need and giving it to yourself immediately. It's building a muscle.
Ooh, I love it. Yes. Yes. Ask what do I want and what do I need? And it's such an important question for especially for those people who care for other people, because we are, like you had said, they tend to just give, 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 and those questions, what do I want and what do I need, hardly ever come into like daily reflection. So I am loving that. And are there, I guess this will be our last question, but are there any resources that you would recommend for our audience um, to think about
Yeah,
and
absolutely. So one, go. I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh no you're good. We're listening to think about just any three resources.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely you can go on my page on Instagram. I'm always doing little insights or tidbits, or I'll have focuses for the week right now. These next few weeks, we're focusing on gratitude. So if you want help with developing a gratitude practice, you definitely can go on my Instagram. But
Yes.
then I always think it's important. Some resources could be just creating some time to move your body. And
Mm,
that doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to go work out my trainer or go to Zumba class. Making sure that you're walking outside.
mm.
Like after this interview, I'm probably going to, after I do my reel, I'm going to walk outside with my dog.
Wow.
So finding that way of just moving your body, because something happens when you're moving your body. You're
Mm,
actually decreasing some of the stressful things that's going on in your mind. Your amygdala, that fear center, isn't working as well. It's cut off when you're doing a lot of physical movement. So my
yeah.
resource is literally finding a physical activity that you like, because that will be
Yes.
such a resource for you when you're stressed and overwhelmed. You can tap into that physical activity, and that will help to reset you and
Mm.
calm you in those stressful moments. Oh, another resource, I'm sorry, is a joy list.
Ooh,
Create a joy list when you're not stressed out of simple things you can do that just make you happy. For
yeah.
me, is listening to certain songs. Um, I have flowers and different things around me all the time. I have a
Yeah.
picture of my wedding behind me, so I can literally turn around when I'm stressed out and look at that.
Oh,
I go, like I said, going outside can be very helpful for me. So I created that list because when you're stressed out, you can't think. Well, you
mhm.
can think, but you might not be thinking as clearly as you want to.
Yeah.
So having that list made ahead of time, that when whatever happens, you can go to and say, you know what, let me just do this real quick. See if that can help me to reset. That is powerful.
Oh, I love it, love it. You're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk. You about to go outside and start walking your kudos, kudos. Yeah, you do. Because a lot of people talk and say a lot of things, but you're doing it. And friends, that's the type. If you're gonna go to someone for inspiration, for coaching, you want someone that is not just talking, but off, doing that walking in the literal sense. So yeah, we are so grateful for having had the opportunity to like have you on this podcast. We just want to thank you, Dr. Tanielle Brew-Smith, because like I said, it is just as a person of color, it's hard to see, or maybe not in the digital space. There are not a lot of physicians who are kind of doing what you're doing. So we're incredibly grateful that you were able to make the space, make the time to be on the podcast, and then also for what you're doing, because you are making a huge difference in the world. There is that empowerment, and that's what we need more than, like, right, more than anything in this world. We need that right now. Um, and I want to invite you, like, are there any last words that you have for our audience?
Yes, well, I'll keep it short. One,
Okay.
I want to say thank you so much for having me here because the reading you gave me was very validating for the experiences I've had for years. So, one, I want to say thank you to you
Oh, you're
for the
welcome.
blessing you gave to me. But then also, another thing I just want to share is find times when you can be more open to whatever
Mhm.
experience is going on. For
Wow.
example, a lot of times when people say, "Oh, I only have two choices," you have more than two. There's actually probably a million choices. So anytime you're in a situation where it's like, "Oh, I can only do this or that," know that you're probably stressed out, even if you don't feel it. There's something stressful happening to where you're limiting yourself. There's
Mm.
always this choice, that. There's a lot of different nuances in there. So if you're not
Yes.
able to see the other choices in between, ask for help. Whether that's a
Oh,
coach you're working with, whether you're getting another perspective from a family member that's a little bit more insightful, whether you're working with a counselor, whatever, when you see there's only two choices, know there's a million more and try to
yes.
be open yourself up enough to find those other choices.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. Yes. Yes. I love that. You just like all of these gold nuggets, you just dropping them. Just just dropping them for people. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, so perfect, perfect. We are so incredibly thankful that you were able to come on, and then we're going to make sure that we post your information so that listeners can find you, and then just many, many blessings to you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
Okay. Wasn't that a great interview? With that said, it is time for our next segment. Yes, time for our soul power statement for the week. And our soul power statement for this week is, I set up my life so success is inevitable. Yes. Many times we look for external things to happen for us when we truly have power to make moves that bring us success. And for me, it brings to mind a quote from Bagambiki Habaryamana, and that quote is, magic always happens when you direct your inner powers to the object you want to change. Remember that you are capable of doing impossible things, of bringing magic into your life. Remember the power of your mind. And all you need to precipitate, to create success lies within you. All right, friends, we have come to the end of our time. We love, love, love to hear from you. So please comment below. Yes, subscribe to our podcast. We want to hear from you. Become part of our podcast family. Yes, write a review and let us know how we're doing. We're really interested in connecting with you. And finally, if no one has told you this today, I will. Thank you for being authentically you. The soul in me honors the soul in you. Disclaimer: this podcast is for spiritual and or entertainment purposes and is not a substitute for medical diagnosis, healthcare treatment, or professional advice. Each person is so unique, so please consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions.